Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining our third event of the new Find Your Future Research Destination online series. Today, featuring four well-known non-university research institutions. My name is Clarissa Rademacher. I am representing the Research in Germany initiative, executed by the German Academic Exchange Service and funded by the Federal Ministry of Research, Technology and Space, and will be today's moderator. In the background, my colleague Indy Nafi will be assisting with the Q&A box moderation and technical support. She will also provide you with an overview of Germany's research and funding system. Our online event series offers international PhD candidates and postdoctoral researchers the opportunity to gain a comprehensive understanding of the diverse German research system. And together with universities, non-university research institutions, research-based companies, and representatives from federal and state research institutions, we provide insights into research conditions, funding opportunities, institutional support services, and life in Germany. Each session is dedicated to a specific region, network, or institution and highlights current offers for international researchers. We are very honored to have the opportunity to lay focus on non-university research institutions today, as this is a specialty of the German research system. What non-university research institutions exactly are will be explained by my colleague in a minute. What can you expect of today's session? My colleague Indy Nafi will start with an overview of Germany's research and funding system. We will then continue with 4 presentations by representatives of the participating institutions. First up is the Biomedical Center Munich, followed by the Bundesanstalt für Materialforschung und Prüfung, or also known as BAM, and the Forschungszentrum Jülich, and finally the Neurocenters in Germany, Munich clusters for systems neurology. After those presentations, we will open the floor for our Q&A session. Is that okay with everybody? This is great. And before we get to meet the representatives of the esteemed institutions and to ensure a smooth and interactive session, I would like to share with you the key features of WebEx webinars. So I will share my screen to show you a few things now. For questions that you would like to address during the Q&A session, please use the Q&A box you can see on the picture here. If you have a question referring to one specific speaker, please mention his or her name or the name of the institution in your comment, and that way we will be able to moderate them accordingly. Next to the Q&A box, you can see polls. We will test them together in just a minute. The chat box is to be used only for technical issues, and you can, of course, use reactions at any time. As mentioned and agreed upon during the registration process, we are recording the event, and the recording will be accessible on our website to all participants after the session, as well as the presentation. Okay. So, Indy, would you like to start sharing the first poll so that we get to know our audience a little more? Great. So we can now see the first question, and we would ask everyone to reply to this question. We are very interested, and probably you are also interested in who you are sharing the room with. And the academic level is always very interesting for us as well. At the moment, it seems like we have many masters and many postdocs here with us today. Probably postdocs are the most, no, masters. You can still answer. We are going to wait a few more seconds. These insights are very helpful for us and also interesting for our panelists and maybe also for yourself. Great. Next question. We would like to know what your academic discipline is. You can choose from a diverse spectrum, so let's see your answers. There are several choices for you. And we are interested if we have a very diverse spectrum of people here, or if we have one discipline dominating. Engineering, very interesting. The MINT subjects, natural sciences. Yeah, very interesting. Medicine, health and sciences, interesting. Yeah, you can keep answering so we see what background you all have. Great, that's very interesting that medicine seems to be the winner for the moment now. Oh, and mathematics, okay. Third question and last question is where you are currently located, and you do not need to mention your street, but we would be interested in the country you're currently located. So let's see.
I'm waiting for a moment because there is a slight delay. That's why I'm giving the audience a little bit more time to.
Yeah, great.
Yes.
We have many people who are joining us via mobile phones, so we try to make it accessible for everyone, so there might be a little delay. Okay. Very interesting. So many different countries. From all continents, as we can see. Great. Thank you for your answers. That's so interesting for us. India, Sweden, Argentina, Germany. Great. Yeah, thank you so much. The Q&A box will be opened in just a minute as well, as you can see now. Because from now on, you can start raising questions and type them down in our dedicated Q&A box. So feel free. Yeah, once again, thank you for your participation. And I'm very much looking forward now to an interesting session. The time is short, so let's make the best of it. Ingi, the floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you, Clarissa. I'll keep the polls running as well as the Q&A box, and I will share my screen and open my camera. So 1 second, but I think it's really terrific that everyone are typing in, even the streets. We don't necessarily need your street. The country or your home country would be totally sufficient. And now we will switch into the German research system. Just want to make sure that you see everything well. Yeah. Perfect. Yes, also from my side, welcome to today's event. We are very happy that you are joining us today and being part of today's event. And today, just as an introduction, we would like to share with you or show you what are the possibilities and how is the German system structured. So I'll just give you an overview, a very short overview about the facts and figures about the German research system. And I think if you would like to know more about the funding opportunities, would definitely advise you to visit or watch the events, our previous events where we had a focus on funding. But today my focus is more on the idea or the question, where can you do research in Germany? Because there are very many options. Exactly. So I'll just give some facts and example where you can do research. Just a small overview about the expenditures in Germany. There is a lot of funding when it comes to research and development. Research is one of the priorities for the government. And here you can see the different numbers and also the how international also the research landscape is. So next to the personnel, there are more than 36,000 university collaborations with more than 160 countries. And I want to focus again, or mainly, on the internationalization, and again, for you to know that there are chances and you have options. Some facts. First of all, the international academic staff at universities are over 60,000 person, and while we're speaking about international academic staff at non-university research institutions, over 16,000. So it's still a very, very big number. And when it comes to international guest researchers, because you do not necessarily need to come and stay the whole time, you can also come and do a little bit of research and then go back, or still collaborate. The option is still there. Over 30,000 guest researchers. Exactly. I did also a very short, I will just get to the next slide. And here I would like to share where you can do research. You have, or there are different pillars where you can do research in Germany. So there are the higher education institutions, the non-university research institutions, and we'll give a couple of examples. Other non-university research institutions, and there are infrastructures, as well as the possibility to do research at R&D companies and startups. So here it is a little bit distributed, or the institutions or in the German research landscape can be divided into 4 categories. First, when it comes to funding, if they are public or private funding, and then if they conduct basic research or applied research. And here you can see the ones that will be mentioned, although not all are marked, but universities, Helmholtz Association, but also state research institutions and federal research institutions. Here you can see how they're distributed, because each one has a different focus. The higher education institutions, we're speaking of around 420 universities and other research higher education institutions, and more than 120,000 of the Germany's approximately, yes, almost 5,000 research and development researchers work at higher education institutions and university hospitals. And the higher education institutions spend more than 22 billion euros of R&D, and they offer a broad spectrum of research activities, including basic research and applied research and development. And within these higher education institutions, there are different possibilities. The known universities, I will not go into detail, but here just a brief. They're entitled to offer or conduct where you can get your doctorate. They have top spots when it comes to international ranking, and they have nearly 20% international staff. And they also pursue cutting-edge research at excellence clusters of excellence and universities of excellence. We're also happy to have one excellence cluster with us today. But there are also the technical universities, or universities of technology, as some are called, and here you can see just a brief about what they are, and that they have a little bit of a different focus than the normal universities. Exactly. Also, for you to know, the presentation or the slides will be shared, so you can just relax and listen in, and you will find everything on our website. And there are also universities of applied sciences. This is something new, that more and more are able to conduct or offer qualifications, PhD possibilities. So nowadays, some particular research-oriented universities of applied sciences have the right to award doctorates in certain subjects. So this is also a nice development, and here you can see it's a very, very diverse landscape. Exactly, together with different universities. And speaking of non-university research institutions, most of people, they speak of the big four, but there are way more than that. And here I just wanted to give an overview about the big four when it comes to non-university research institutions. They have different focuses. Some do basic research, some do applied research. They have different focus when it comes to research fields. Here you can also see the different research fields that are available, and they have also different focal points. I think von Jülich, Forschungszentrum Jülich, is part of the Helmholtz Association. I think they will get more into it. But here, for instance, they provide the most modern research infrastructures with equipment that in some cases can be found nowhere else in the world. I'm sure Alyssa will give you a little bit of insights what kind of research it's done there. Yes, exactly. And I wanted to share that there are, we're still looking at the area of non-university research institutions beside the big major four non-university research institutions with their hundreds of research institutions and centers. There are dozens of other public or publicly funded organizations for research and development. And let's take a look at a couple of them. So there are 51 federal research institutions, and we also have 2 with us today when it comes to that, and state or Länder research institutions also here with us, as well as academies. And these are all different fields where you can still conduct research in Germany. Yes, so Germany's federal ministries fund 43 federal research and development institutions, and these institutions are primarily structured as authorities and overseen by the respective ministries. For instance, the Robert Koch Institute and the German Environment Agency. And in addition to this, the ministries engage in continuous cooperation with other non-university research institutions, most of which are organized under private law. For example, the German Institute for International and Security Affairs. And the main objective of this kind of research is to support the ministry's activities and provide the necessary scientific basis for the execution of government measures. And the federal research institutions are an important part of the German research system. And here you can also see the different budget and the number of staff. So it's really a big bulk for sure. And the German states or Länder act as research funding bodies and operate several research institutions that support state research activities. There are 138 institutes covering a broad range of research areas such as engineering, humanities, health, and natural sciences. And state-level research institutes are, for the most part, publicly funded, and a small part of their revenues is generated by their commercial activities. Exactly, and here we can also see the staff and as well as the total budget. But I'm sure my colleagues or our partners who are speaking today can share a little bit more insights. And the academies are associations of renowned individuals from the worlds of academia, scholarships, and arts, and they help politicians and the public find answers to current questions and problems, and coordinate and support long-term fundamental research projects, and develop and cultivate interdisciplinary dialogue. For instance, the Leopoldina is the German National Academy of Sciences and unites research with outstanding expertise in almost all fields of research. Yet there are many other academies in Germany too. They include the Union of the German Academies of Science and Humanities, which is an association of 8 state academies. Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. The same goes also for die junge Akademie, also focusing on young academics. Germany has many large-scale research facilities of national, transitional, or even global importance. And these research infrastructures include marine and polar research vessels, globally organized climate research infrastructures like life sciences network, research data infrastructures, and platforms for the social sciences, humanities, and cultural studies that are also available to researchers from all over the world. Exactly. The costs of their development and construction are so high that they require substantial national public funding and therefore justify an extensive national decision-making process. And there are multiple examples, as I said. Also, the latest are, for instance, supercomputers, and they are in many cases, complex and expensive research infrastructures can only be achieved through European and international cooperation. And the federal government teams up with partners worldwide to establish and operate and use such research infrastructure. And by the way, an example, two internationally important large-scale research devices are, I think, presented in the next slides. No, I think I made a cut and wanted to give you a short overview about the high-tech agenda. The high-tech agenda, Germany aims to significantly enhance the country's innovation and economic power by intensifying investments in future technologies. It focuses on 6 selected key technologies and 5 strategic research fields. And the overarching goal is to make Germany or bring Germany back to the forefront of international technological competition. Yes, and for each key technology, flagship initiatives with concentrate timelines are being developed. And here I'd like to share the 6 key technologies. First of all, artificial intelligence, quantum technology, robotics, digitalization, aerospace technologies, health, and biotechnology. And the government is dedicating funding and have dedicated funding programs, grants, and strategic initiatives to foster advancements and competitiveness in these sectors. So, I will skip the summary to not waste more time, and would just like to share with you some important sources where you can get information. If you're interested to know more about general information about research in Germany, you can visit our homepage, researchingermany.org. And here we have multiple information. We have also a database when it comes to open positions. We also have our different social media channels where you can find lots of information and open calls and research that is taking place at the moment in Germany. And join us in the different online events like today, Find Your Future Research Destination, but we also have Meet Your Future You series where you can still find a lot of helpful information and details. So watch the previous videos and take a closer look on what other options do you have, as well as different sources. And yes, here are some important links. And again, we will share it with you, everything. And thank you for your attention. I will also take the questions at the end with my other colleagues and partners. Thank you very much. And the floor is back to you, Clarissa. The floor is yours.
Great, thank you. I think we are well informed now and indeed already promoted more to come. And yeah, it's my great pleasure now to introduce Ms. Diefenbacher from the Biomedical Center in Munich. So the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So I will start sharing my screen. Hope that works.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So let me just, yeah. So I'm delighted to have the opportunity to represent our center to you today. My name is Daniela, and I'm responsible for the science communication here at the Biomedical Center Munich, short BMC. So that's what I'm usually referring to. BMC is just a little bit easier to remember, I guess, as well. Just to give you an idea where we're actually located, we are in the south of Germany, in front of the Alps and between some beautiful lakes. So in case you're interested in outdoor activities, this might be interesting for you. And the city itself, it's a friendly, vibrant, and international city. So if you're not fluent in German, then yeah, it's easy to navigate or to get along in Munich because a lot of people speak English as well. So especially for the beginning, that might be interesting for you as well. And yeah, we have a lot of international restaurants and big events usually. And within Munich, the city Munich, we actually also located south of Munich on a very big campus. We claim it's the biggest life science campus in Europe because we have some excellent scientific neighbors, and actually a lot of them as well, literally next door or just some steps away. So might be interesting for you to know what kind of setting we have. We have the Max Planck Institute of Biochemistry, the Gene Center Munich, the LMU University Hospital, where we collaborate a lot because we do a lot of translational research as well, working with patients together. There's the Max Planck Institute for Biological Intelligence, the Helmholtz Center Munich, the Biocenter, the Faculty of Chemistry and Pharmacy, the Biosystem, the Center for Stroke and Dementia, the ICON, and also quite important, the Innovation and Startup Center Biotechnology, which supports spin-off companies and startup companies, especially from our center, from the university, from the other institutes. So there's a lot of stuff going on in terms of transfer here as well. But now about the Biomedical Center itself. So we are part of the LMU University, which is one of the best in Germany and one of the best in Europe as well. And our building actually was opened in 2015, so fairly new, and brings together 8 research chairs from the LMU Faculty of Medicine. So we're bridging the gap between basic research and clinical applications. Our institutes or chairs are the Institute of Immunology, the Division of Physiology, Genomics, the Institute of Cardiovascular Physiology and Pathophysiology, the Division of Metabolic Biochemistry, the Institute of Clinical Neuroimmunology, the Division of Molecular Biology, of Physiological Chemistry, and of Cell Biology. So and I'd love to go in more detail what kind of research we are doing, but it's actually very diverse and quite a lot. So I thought I'd just give you some research areas, focus, kind of the big topics we are trying to cover or where we actually quite outstanding. So this is immunology, focusing on autoimmune diseases, multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and dementia, cardiovascular research, yellow fever, vaccination in this case, the repair of lost neurons after a brain injury, like in stroke or neurodegenerative diseases, working with CRISPR-Cas, for example, perinatal development of immune cells, neutrophils, guiding injured CNS tissue towards recovery, metabolic regulation of gene activity, epigenetics we are also looking at, etc., etc. But just to give you an idea what we are focusing on in our biomedical center. And to put it in numbers, we actually have 16 research groups, almost, with 408 colleagues from 52 countries. So a fairly international scientific community and a fairly big center as well. Our research network is international and national. We're involved in a lot of clusters with a lot of PhD programs as well. I don't have the time to go through this now or in more detail, but just to give you here an overview what we are actually involved in, or how we are connected. What would be also or could be interesting for you as well, that we have a lot of or we have 6 core facilities on site. So it means that we have very good state-of-the-art technology and infrastructure in our building. So whenever you need very good techniques or expensive instruments, your lab doesn't need them. We have them usually in the building as well, with a very good colleagues who can help you with this, and you just go next door basically and yeah, get involved with them to get a very good accelerate your research basically with this high-end yeah, techniques or instruments. So you don't have to travel far. I think that's could be an advantage sometimes as well. In terms of the campus, we are a little bit outside of Munich, so we're not in the city center. This has an advantage sometimes that you don't, and yeah, the flats are not as expensive maybe because you don't need to stay in the city center if you don't want to. However, we have a very good public transport connection. It's about 20 minutes with the underground. And on the campus, we offer a lot of canteens, cafes, some sport activities. So we have some a running club, we have a soccer club, we have a table tennis, beach volleyball, whatever. So a lot of stuff. But we also offer childcare on campus. So hopefully to make campus life a little bit easier and more attractive. And yeah, it's quite green as well, which I personally enjoy quite often. Within the building, we also have collaboration spaces, because for us, the Biomedical Center, it's very important that people have opportunities to connect, to interact, to come together, to collaborate. And that's why with this new building, we had the opportunity to create these kind of spaces. Also for workshops, we have a lot of conferences going on in our building because it's has a good space for that. So you don't have to travel always internationally and very far. A lot of conferences are also happening in our building. We have re-owned guest speakers on a regular basis, international guest speakers in our building in the BMC. And we have monthly internal seminars where we also, again, try to connect with each other, because we are a big institute. And these seminars give us the opportunity to know what's happening next door and in the other lab, and yeah, to make collaborations a little bit easier or quicker even, I guess. In terms of our values, well, we actually, well, I think that's quite special maybe, or maybe not the usual, what you would expect from research institute. We have 3 initiatives. Most of them are bottom-up initiatives where PhD students or postdocs were interested in a specific topic, and they felt like, you know, we should do something more, or we should do something extra. And that's how these 3 initiatives came up. They are supported by the senior staff or senior group leaders, but they actually, as I said, bottom up. And we have the diversity initiative. That's the first picture. Which emerged in 2021 as a result of a staff-wide survey, and organizes several workshops and our regular onboarding event where we welcome new staff and give them an intro and a tour in the BMC and give them some tips about living in Munich, but also here starting at the BMC. And this initiative also gave rise to the Code of Conduct, which manifests our common values in terms of equality, diversity, and research integrity. We're a little bit proud of that. And we also have the Green Lab initiative. And the aim of this initiative is to reduce our ecological footprint in the laboratory and make our research more sustainable. And we're able to secure also an international certificate for this now last year, and but we're still trying to progress and getting better. And we have the postdoc initiative, which I think is also very helpful if you're a postdoc and you're not quite sure about teaching, or should I stay in academia, should I move in industry? I mean, Munich, there's a lot of life science industry as well, so the choice is sometimes not easy. And this is an initiative where postdocs support each other with these choices, or maybe collaborations as well. And with this, I'm coming to the end. And the most important part, I guess, is about jobs and careers here at the BMC. I hope you, you find it interesting or you're interested in. At the moment, we don't have a lot of job offers. They just passed, which is a little bit, yeah, unfortunate. But it's worth checking our website. So we don't have once a year call or something like this. Others have this once a year. We have this on very regular basis. It's worth checking every month our website, which I indicated here, where you can see job offers coming up. On this website, you will also see some specific tips for PhD candidates, for postdocs, for group leaders. If you're now a postdoc and you would consider establishing your group at the BMC, then we have some tips there as well. We can first have a look at. And I would recommend checking our website again in spring next year and in summer, because there's a big call coming up and where we might get some funding for. So yeah, it's worth checking on a regular basis. But in general, it's worth following us on social media, I guess, because job offers will be posted there as well, maybe with some more details and explanation. And with this, I'm happy to end my presentation and hand over again.
Thank you so much, Ms. Diefenbacher. We all know the BMC better now. I'm sure there will be a couple of questions. So dear audience, don't worry, we will find time for questions later on during the Q&A session. Yeah, we're coming to the second presentation from our guest speakers. It's my pleasure now to introduce Ms. Blankenburg and Ms. Schumacher. The floor is yours.
Yes, hello, welcome to our session. My name is Britta Schumacher, and together with my colleague Stephanie Blankenburg, I'll guide you through what BAM can offer. We're working at the Bundesanstalt für Materialforschung und Prüfung. It's a complicated name, but short we say BAM. And to begin, let me briefly explain the kind of institution that we're talking about within the larger research landscape. So we move to the next slide. Yeah, so in Germany, we have a unique type of research organization. And I think Ingi talked a little bit about that also in the beginning already. The departmental research institutions, and we call them Ressortforschungseinrichtungen. And they sit right at the interface between science and policy. And their job is to provide ministries with evidence-based advice and applied research. And there are more than 40 of these institutions in Germany, and each of them are helping government make informed decisions on various issues spanning from health towards mobility and infrastructure, environment, security and technology, and more. So the emphasis is basically to bridge science and policy. We also assembled a slide on which we can see who these institutions are. So we transition to the next slide. Here, I'm not going to name all of them, but here you can see the breadth of federal departmental research institutions across Germany, and each one contributes in a very specific area, shaping policy and advancing applied science. And this diversity also means there obviously enormous collaboration potential across disciplines. And then we move to the next slide, where we can see the various locations where these departmental research institutions are placed and located. You may see that they're distributed mostly in the eastern, western, and southern part of Germany, with some also spread in the middle. And yeah, together they form a backbone of Germany's evidence-based governance. Yeah, and now let's focus on BAM. Because we would like to present you some of our offerings. So BAM's mission is clear and simple. It is to ensure safety in technology and chemistry. And BAM is a senior scientific and technical federal institute within the jurisdiction of the Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Energy, short BMWE. And our mission is to safeguard and constantly further develop safety standards in the field of technology and chemistry. So our work therefore contributes to the resolution of important societal challenges, and at the same time helps to ensure Germany and Europe's continued prominence as attractive places to do business. And we do this across several locations. On the next slide, you can see where we are located. We have 4 different branches. Our headquarters is very centrally located in Berlin, in Lichterfelde West, which is close to Steglitz-Zehlendorf. And there's another branch there in Fahrbeckstraße, which is basically in the same street as the headquarters. And then we have 1 branch in Adlershof, which is located in the technology park of Berlin, which is a really exciting area with lots of startups and also other technical institutes, and the part of the university is also there. So we have a branch there as well. And then we have also a test site for technical safety, TTS, which is located right outside of Berlin and Brandenburg. And being embedded in Berlin's research ecosystem it gives us a very strong link to the universities and industry within the city, of course. So what exactly do we do at these sites? Our work centers on 3 key tasks: research, testing, and advising government and industry. And we have an important role in developing standards and regulations that keep society and industry safe while enabling also innovation. And this work spans a wide range of scientific areas. So we move to the next slide. Our work focuses on 5 cross-departmental topics, which is energy, infrastructure, environment, materials, and chemistry and process engineering. So each of these areas contributes to innovation and supports partners in science and industries. And then to give you an overview of BAM and short figures and facts. So we have a staff of around 1,550 employees from more than 55 nations. So we are highly international institutions. And within these employees, you will find 200 postdoctoral researchers and 120 PhD students. So it's also very dynamic and young institution. And you will hear from my colleague Stefanie a little bit more about also the offers for this target group within our organization. Our organization has 11 departments, 75 divisions and sections, and has a roundabout budget from 201 million euros. And that splits up into one big chunk of basic funding, which is 176 million. And the rest is third-party funding and scientific and technical services. And then we have around 500 peer-reviewed publications and 58 patents. Then we move to the next slide. All of this comes together in what we call one BAM. So one BAM represents who we are, an institution that works collaboratively, innovates continuously, and pursues a shared purpose. It reflects also the unity behind everything what we're doing. And with that, I'm delighted to hand over to my colleague, Stefanie Blankenburg, who will talk a little bit more about the concrete offers that we have here at BAM.
Yeah, hello, also a warm welcome from my side. And I'm pretty sure you're very eager what we can offer to you. So first of all, I would like to show you a slide about our diverse career opportunities you can have at BAM. So first of all, Britta already mentioned, so we have also doctoral candidates here. We have postdoc positions, but also positions for senior scientists and managers. So we have currently around 220 doctoral candidates. It's very important to know that we do not have the right to award PhDs and the doctoral degree, but we work very closely with national but also international universities, which have the possibility to award the PhD. For example, we work very closely with the University of Birmingham. So this is a very common procedure also for the Big Four Ingi mentioned in the beginning. We have a very lively network of PhD candidates. They are organized together. They are self-organized and organizing social events. that is also true for our postdocs. We have almost 100 postdocs here from also different nations. And one of our fellowship programs I will explain you in a few minutes. Our postdoc network, for example, is organizing postdoc days, social events like canoeing. So it's really nice to connect here with your peers, but also with other colleagues at BAM. We have, in contrast to the German universities, let's say, more permanent positions. So it is possible at BAM, for example, to work as a permanent researchers on the medium level with small leadership opportunities. There are rare possibilities, but there are to have, let's say, a career development in our institution to go to a senior scientist or manager positions. We support you with different kind of workshops, but also coaching. And BAM also supports the possibility that you, if you are, let's say, a senior scientist, that you maybe can also have a joint appointment with a university or University of Applied Sciences. So there are possibilities to be really near to work in, to be a researcher, to work very closely with the different kind of organizations in Germany, but also abroad. One of our options, which could be interesting for you, is the Adolf Martens Fellowship Program. If you already have a PhD and you obtained it in the last 3 years abroad, so not in Germany, you are eligible. Here it is very important that you, besides this, have contact to division or department at BAM. So if you have this, you get a letter of intent, and then you can apply for this program. It is not a stipend, it is a real salary you will get from us for 1 year, and you can do your own research. So, and we also support you in this year to get the next funding so that you can stay or going a little bit more into a spin-off or transfer. We have 3 application deadlines every year, and you will not find the templates on the internet, so you really have to contact us directly, and the email address is mentioned on the slide. We support our early career researchers with our BAM Graduate Academy. You find the goals here in the slide. So it's very important for us to assure quality by offering different kind of workshops and events. And we also support networking, especially between international ones and interdisciplinary networks. The BAM Graduate Academy consists of 3 columns. Besides the advisory service, where we also work very closely with our networks, the PhD network and the postdoc network. We also have an information service via newsletters and using a lot also our social media channels. One big column is our Menschenpotenziale Qualification Program, where we offer workshops and extra events. So workshops, for example, to gain new competences, to improve competences, and also to network a bit and find new colleagues and collaborators within the BAM, but also abroad. One of our events we are doing monthly is, for example, the Career Fireside Chat. Here we invite BAM alumni to talk a bit about their current position and career path, so that we can also help our early career researchers to find their personal career path as well. We have, because we are a federal institution, an excellent infrastructure, which is always state of the art. We have a lot also of industry corporations, and as Britta already said, we are doing policy advice and standardization and regulation, and we support you. We have, for example, a welcome office which supports you before you directly start at BAM. So we try to support you with all the documentations and all the stuff when you're coming to Germany. And we also try to help you with finding a flat, because it's not that easy in Berlin. We have Britta here now on board, who is also supporting you as the manager of international affairs. We support our early career researchers by the acquisition of third-party funding and with a spin-off support. And if you're also coordinating a big project, for example, in an EU project, we also have a colleague here supporting you with this. Yeah, so we are very happy if you would apply for one of our positions, which are open at the moment. So you find the QR code here, and it's always good to check our websites constantly. As I said before, we have the Adolf Martens Fellowship with the 3 deadlines. And currently we have a new, let's say, Graduiertenkolleg, a new collaboration with another university and another institution here, where we have 9 new PhD positions opening in the next days and weeks. So it makes sense to have a look on our portal, and we also post our positions on LinkedIn. So it's also good to follow BAM directly. Yeah. This I would like to end, and I'm very happy, or we are very happy to answer your questions later in the Q&A.
Great, thank you so much, the 2 of you. We are honored to have you, and it's time for our 3rd presentation. Now I would like to introduce Ms. Arz from the Forschungszentrum Jülich, and you can start.
Thank you. Let me see if the slides can be shared. Computer sound. Okay, you should now see the presentation, right?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, great, thank you. So yes, as Clarissa mentioned, my name is Alissa Arz. I work in the HR department of Forschungszentrum Jülich, and I'm really happy to share some information about the research center as an employer with you. But before introducing Forschungszentrum Jülich, I would like to briefly talk about the Helmholtz Association, which was also mentioned by Ingi at the beginning. And the Helmholtz Association, which Jülich belongs to, is one of the 4 largest non-university research institutions in Germany, alongside Leibniz, Max Planck, and Fraunhofer. You have seen this on Ingi's slide already. And as you can see from the map, the Helmholtz Association consists of 18 centers, and they conduct research in 6 strategic research fields. These fields are energy, earth and environment, health, aeronautics, space and transport, matter, and information. And Jülich covers several of these research areas. But before introducing our research topics to you in a little bit more detail, I would like to show a short video to introduce the research center to you. Hopefully it works.
We are committed to the goal of shaping change. We are helping to drive the energy revolution. Are pioneers in computer and simulation science, conduct research on the human brain, and are supporting the transition to bio-based economies. Using state-of-the-art technology, we help to uncover what is hidden and develop innovative solutions. More than 7,000 employees work to achieve this goal in a wide range of areas. Maintaining a constant dialogue, we are continually challenging ourselves to find new approaches in Jülich and at our branch offices. And we do this together with other institutions, both regionally and worldwide. People are the most important factor in this process. It is through people that we can achieve great things. You too can help us to shape change.
So I always like showing this video because it offers some impressions of our campus and the atmosphere in Jülich. And in addition, it also mentions our 3 main research fields: information, energy, and bioeconomy, which I would like to talk a little bit more in detail about now. In the field of information, we are researching the processing of information in natural and artificial systems. And this includes a broad range of topics such as neuroscience and brain research, as well as computing technologies, especially super high performance quantum neuromorphic computing. And maybe you have heard of it. A few months ago, Jupiter, Europe's first exascale class computer, was officially inaugurated in Jülich. And it's forming the foundation of the Jupiter AI factory, which is built around this groundbreaking system. And currently, Jupiter ranks as the 4th fastest supercomputer in the world and the most energy efficient system in the exascale class. So, of course, we are really, really proud of this. Yeah. In the field of energy research, we conduct research for a climate-friendly energy system, and the aim is to contribute to the energy transition and to limit climate change. And it's several of our institutes that focus on topics such as photovoltaics, batteries, fuel cells, hydrogen, materials systems, and climate research. And in the field of bioeconomy, we conduct research for a resource-efficient energy system and economic system to meet the growing demand that we have worldwide for food, raw materials, and energy in a sustainable way. And our scientists explore the sustainable production based on plant and microbial processes, as well as the sustainable use of the natural resources, soil and water. We have the large research campus in Jülich that you have also seen in the video. And on this campus, we have large-scale research facilities. I have mentioned the supercomputers, but we also have, for example, state-of-the-art electron microscopes, the Helmholtz Nano facility, what is a clean room laboratory of the highest quality, or AgraSim, a plant time machine, just to mention a few of these research facilities Jülich scientists, but also scientists worldwide have access to. There are more than 7,600 employees at the research center, and of course, many of them working as scientists, doctoral researchers, or in technical and laboratory professions. And with regard to the work environment, on the one hand, it's really international. So many of our colleagues, especially those who work in science, come from abroad to Jülich to conduct research. And on the other hand, it's also really interdisciplinary. So we have colleagues from very different disciplines, from natural engineering and computer sciences. Forschungszentrum Jülich is, I mentioned it, located in the city Jülich. And Jülich is located in the west of Germany, quite close to the Netherlands and Belgium. And cities that are close by, as well as cities in the neighboring countries, are easy to reach from Jülich. And the majority of our colleagues work on the research campus in Jülich, but we also have some other branch offices in Germany, which are marked on this map with the green dots. And we have 3 international labs and offices in Canada, France, and Thailand. So with the second part of my presentation, I would like to focus a little bit more on the employment opportunities and focusing on the opportunities for doctoral researchers and postdocs. And it was mentioned before that doing a doctorate at a non-university research institution is a little bit special because we cannot award the doctoral degree. This is always conferred by university. And in Jülich, we also have close partnerships between the research center and different universities and the heads of our institutes. So a few slides before, you saw that we have more than 80 sub-institutes, and each head of these institutes is at the same time a professor at a university. So we have the connections, and these colleagues who have the professorships can function as Dr. Father or Dr. Mother. And this is how we have the connections to the universities. And as you see from the numbers on this slide, we supervise many doctoral researchers each year. And again, many of them come from abroad to join the research center in Jülich for their doctoral research. And the majority has a contract for 3 years, which of course guarantees the funding of the doctoral project for this period of time. And compared to other PhD opportunities, 3 years is quite fast. And there are 3 main reasons why it's possible to stick to these 3 years that are aimed. And one is mentioned on the slide, it's UDOCS, the Jülich Center for Doctoral Researchers and Supervisors. And with UDOCS, there came a standardized process that is the same for all doctoral researchers in Jülich. It defines milestones and process steps, so that the whole process everyone has in mind, it should be possible to finish within the 3 years that are aimed, and the structure of the projects also support this. A second reason is that you don't have any teaching obligations, so you can completely focus on your research project. And the third is the close scientific supervision. I mentioned before that the heads of the institutes, for example, can function as Dr. Father or Dr. Mother. But in addition to these people, you always have a scientific supervisor. in most cases, it's a postdoc from the institute who is your day-to-day contact person and supervisor for your doctoral project. And this, of course, also supports progress within the project. After a PhD, it's possible to work in science management, and as a science manager, you use your scientific expertise to support scientists and research, for example, in the areas of project management, communication, collaboration, or networking. And if you decide to continue conducting research, there are different opportunities for scientists with a doctoral degree. We offer, for example, opportunities such as positions as researchers with and without leadership responsibilities, for example, as a team lead. There are young investigator group leaders positions, professorships, and even institute directors. And my last slide, some of the benefits, the framework conditions, especially for international employees, very, very helpful for new colleagues is the services provided by the International Advisory Service for our international employees and their families on matters concerning non-nationals and social legislation. For example, they support the application for work permits for persons from non-European countries, and they also help with choosing and applying for appropriate health insurance. And in addition, we are also planning to develop and implement a welcome center to expand the range of the services. The guest house, the welcome guide, and the welcome day mentioned on this slide are also some more measures to make your start at Forschungszentrum Jülich as comfortable and as easy as possible. Then there are also advisory services for topics related to your research, for example, on transfer and innovation or third-party funding, as well as related to your career, provided by our Career Center and Postdoc Office. And as I'm slightly running out of time, to sum up, the Research Center in Jülich is one of the largest research institutions in Europe, offering exciting research topics and attractive framework conditions, especially for internationals. And I would be delighted if this overview has sparked your interest and you might soon apply to join us. Some further information can be found on our website. Here are my contact information, and I will also put some links in the chat where you can find further information. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So as you heard, all the contact details will be posted in the chat box in just a second. And also a reminder in between our presentations, please use the Q&A box for questions. That way we will be able to coordinate them to your best advantage. And you can see the Q&A box when you click on the S next to the chat box. My colleague also explained that in the chat just for your information. So now we already come to our final presentation by Astrid van Kimmenade, and she comes from the Neurocenters in Germany.
Yes, thank you very much. I think you can all see my screen, right? Okay, so good day, everyone. My name is Astrid van Kimmenade, and I'm here to talk about opportunities in neuroscience in Germany, presenting the network of German neurocenters. So while this is not a complete network, it connects neuroscientists and provides information at international conferences worldwide. So this network serves as a gateway for interested neuroscientists and showcases the diversity of research in Germany. And this includes areas such as clinical neuroscience, for example, in Berlin, systemic neuroscience in Munich, or molecular neuroscience in other regions. So we present researchers interested in visiting Germany we present them with initial information about research opportunities in our country. So if you would like more information, then please visit our website where you can find all the institutions that are linked in this network. So for example, we have NeuroCure in Berlin and Retune in Berlin. We have the Hertie Institute in Tübingen. We have InCode in Freiburg. And we have Synergy, for example, in Munich. Let me go to the next slide. So you can meet us at neuroscience conferences, actually. So last year we were in Morocco. We participated in the 17th International Conference of the Society of Neuroscientists of Africa in Marrakesh. And at the moment, you can actually find us in San Diego at the Society for a Neuroscience Conference. Okay. So back to this network of German Neurocenters. Now I work specifically for the Munich Cluster for Systems Neurology. I highlighted here in green, which is located in Munich, and Munich has already been very nicely presented by Daniela Diefenbacher from BMC. So by now you should all know about the lovely location that is Munich. But since I work for Synergy specifically, I'd like to introduce it to you. So Synergy is the Munich Cluster for Systems Neurology, and we're focused on understanding the development of complex neurological diseases such as Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, stroke, and multiple sclerosis. So although these diseases have distinct clinical manifestations, they share overlapping mechanisms in their development. So we use systems neurology as a new interdisciplinary approach, and therewith our researchers can better map the processes that are involved in neurovascular, neurodegenerative, and neuroimmunological diseases and develop approaches for novel therapies. Now, Synergy is a so-called cluster of excellence, which has already briefly been touched upon by Ingi. Clusters of excellence are large, long-term collaborative research initiatives, and they're hosted by one or more universities. They're focused on an overarching research theme, and in our case, that is systems neurology. So clusters are funded for 7 years, and they have the possibility of renewal. We have been funded since 2012, so we're already in our second funding period, and we're very happy that we'll be able to start our third funding period next year. Now, back to Synergy. So the cluster is hosted by 2 universities in Munich. That is the LMU, the Ludwig Maximilians University in Munich, and the Technical University in Munich. And we have several partners, research institutions. That's the DZNA. It's the German Center for Neurodegenerative Diseases. We have Helmholtz Munich as a partner, and there are 3 Max Planck Institutes. The Max Planck Institute for Biochemistry, for Biological Intelligence, and for Psychiatry. Now, I wanted to present something about our graduate programs that we collaborate with. So the first at the LMU, we have the Graduate School of Systemic Neurosciences. This school aims to connect research groups from various fields in the neurosciences, so including, for example, behavioral and cognitive neuroscience, but also biomedical neuroscience or developmental neuroscience, as well as theoretical and technical applications. The graduate school offers an integrated program and guides students from their bachelor's degree through to a master's and then eventually to a doctoral degree. The structure of the program combines seminars and coursework tailored to your individual backgrounds and research goals. The scientific program is divided into 3 components: hard skills, conferences that promote international networking, and courses focused on transferable or soft skills. Now, the Technical University also has a graduate program in neurosciences. It offers a degree for students with backgrounds in medicine, natural sciences, life sciences, or engineering. It's a PhD program in medical life science and technology. And also here, the program's main research areas include cardiovascular research, imaging, immunology and infection, neuroscience, oncology, and molecular medicine. So all students become members of the graduate school of the School of Medicine, and therefore also gain access to various benefits from this graduate school. The last one I would like to introduce, also in Munich and part of our it's related to our cluster, is IMPRES, which is international graduate programs of the Max Planck Gesellschaft. And there are, in total, Max Planck has 66 research schools, and 2 of them in Munich relate to neuroscience. So one focuses on translational neuroscience. That's the International Max Planck Research. It's the International Max Planck Research School. So one of them focuses on translational psychiatry, and the other one on biological intelligence. Now, to give you a brief impression of what kind of research we do and how our students and whether they enjoy it, I'd like to share a short video with a postdoc who works in one of the labs, that is one of the Synergy labs.
So my name is Angelika Dannert, and I studied molecular medicine, both in my bachelor's and my master's. So I work as a postdoc in the lab of Dominique Paquet, and since 1.5 years. So currently I'm working on developing a model for tauopathies. Tauopathies are a subgroup of dementia, so a special type of dementia, but actually a lot of dementias are caused by tau or malfunction of the protein tau. So I tried to build a human neuronal model for these diseases, and yeah, this was actually quite successful. So now we went on to actually use this model for some drug screening and also to better understand the underlying disease mechanisms that cause tauopathies. So I think the most fulfilling part for me was to really, there was just this one moment when I realized it worked. I looked through a microscope and I saw the tau pathology that we were trying to recreate in my model, and this was a very great moment for me. And to just also, once I had these results and started presenting them at conferences, just to feel the enthusiasm also of other people about this project, it's really great.
Just to give you a sort of impression about how fun research can be. Now, you're probably curious about upcoming opportunities. So what I can share with you is that we'll have an upcoming call for applications for our postdocs, fellowships. Together with the NOMIS Foundation, we established a fellowship program for exceptional early career scientists in the field of systems neurology. So more information, including the application deadline and the application process, will follow on our website soon. Now, there's also a very nice website which gives a complete overview of all the neuro schools in Germany. So the graduate schools of neuroscience. And as you can see, there are quite a few. So you can visit the website, and there's links to each of the schools and contact details on that website. That brings me to my final slide, which is a slide for further information. So all the links to the website for Neurocenters in Germany, the Munich cluster for systems neurology, which is part of the Neurocenters in Germany group, are the LMU Graduate School, the Technical University Munich Graduate School, and the International Max Planck Research Schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. van Kemenade. That were all our presentations for today. And we are coming now, as you can see, to our Q&A session. So, yes, I would kindly ask our speakers to switch on their cameras now. And while doing so, dear researchers, keep typing your questions into the dedicated Q&A box. And again, please address your questions to the individual person or institution so that we can moderate them properly. And you can also like other questions, so we see the urgency of one or the other question. And also we will be focusing on rather general questions so that we cover questions raised by the majority of the audience. And so 2 individual questions cannot be addressed as the time is limited. So, Ingi, would you like to start with addressing the first question?
Yes.
Stop sharing the screen.
Perfect. Yes, thank you very much. I saw multiple times the question regarding language. So I think this goes to all institutions. How important is the German language when it comes to doing research at your esteemed institutions? And if they are, maybe which level would you recommend? So I'll just pass it through. Maybe I see Astrid as a first, or you can just open your microphones and share with us what would be the most important. What do you think? Or if anyone else would like to jump in.
I'm happy to start.
Sure. Yes, go ahead.
So in our case, in biomedical research, you don't need the German language to do your research. It's not required. It does help if you start learning it maybe in the first year or in the second year. We do offer some courses specifically for this. And I guess if you want to stay after your PhD, for example, or after your postdoc time in Germany because you want to move into industry, then in that case, I think German would be really helpful, or it would be even necessary. But just with us, staying with us, it wouldn't be necessary. But yeah, I think it's always a nice thing if you start learning it.
Yes, how is it at BAM and Jülich?
So for BAM, I would second that for BAM. So you can easily get around in all laboratories and departments with English, that's clear. But however, it depends really on how long you want to stay and if you want to, if you see your career in Germany. And therefore, we are right now establishing language courses in all our different locations, so that specifically for the groups of PhDs and postdocs, so we can make sure that the language course demand is met. And yeah, we're working eagerly on this at the moment.
Yeah, for Jülich, it's the same. So for the scientific positions, I would say 95% don't require any German language skills. And if they do, then you will find within the job ad in the requirements profile, there will be an information if German language skills are required. And yeah, recommend, so I can also recommend learning German when living and staying in Germany for a longer time. And we also offer language courses at Jülich.
Perfect. Thank you very much for the insight. I think many of the teams are already also international, and because of lots of collaboration, this is the normal. But when it comes to the normal life, I think it again depends on in which city you are, and because it also differs from one city to another in Germany. Yes, thank you very much for the insights. Clarissa, do you have the next question?
Yeah, there are so many, I just checked, there are so many very specific questions. So unfortunately, we will not go into those details. And to the panelists, just a reminder, it would be great if the ones who haven't could write their email addresses or websites so that people can contact you, because there have been a couple of questions regarding that as well. So because we have a lot of people who are coming from the medical background, there was one question: if you haven't done your medical license in Germany, if it's a prerequisite to apply for medical research, is there anyone of you who could answer to that question?
I think I could start. So because we do biomedical research, we actually do have some medics here, so who did the medical degree and started with the research here. So you don't need a medical degree to work at our place or to start your PhD with us. But you can decide actually to do your medical PhD. So this is where, when you start your PhD, where you have a choice: do you want to have a German PhD or an international PhD or a medical PhD? And of course, the medical PhD you can only get if you have a medical degree. but it's not required. At least I don't know any case where it's specifically required. But for some research, it might be beneficial if you have a medical background, if it's really translational, and you know, working a lot together with the university hospital.
Yeah, thank you. I think that relates to what many partners respond to that question. It has to be transferable, or the knowledge you gained beforehand has to match the system, the academic system in Germany, of course. Yeah, is there anyone else who would like to answer to that question? Otherwise, we would continue. All right. Inji, do you have another question?
Yes, I can maybe ask the question. I think someone answered part of it, but I think it's a frequent asked question when it comes to age limitation. If someone is would like to do a postdoctoral degree or a PhD, are there any when it comes to your positions? And yes, so maybe we can start with that point.
So for Jülich, it's answered quite quickly. We don't have any age limitations.
Yes.
It's the same for us. So there are no age limitations.
Perfect. I think when it comes to like limitation, it's more how far ago was your PhD, for instance. This is sometimes a criteria for grants or positions or funding. So I think maybe this would be something to be kept in mind if you're thinking about, okay, there are, when it comes to limitation to age or duration. Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
Another highly liked message was, just going to read it out. Are people with a PhD in material science and industrial research and development experience eligible to apply for junior scientist or team manager roles? It's the question, which is not top, so maybe someone could answer to that.
I think I already wrote an answer, but maybe only the person who asked gets the answer. So for sure there are possibilities. It really depends on the position. So yeah, so because we are also working very closely with industry experience could be valid, but it really depends on the position. So please check regularly our websites and LinkedIn portals. So I cannot give a completely yes or no. It really depends on the position.
Sure. Yeah, great. Thank you. A little reminder, because so many people were asking about the presentation. We will upload the presentation for everyone. It will be posted on our website, and I already posted the link in the chat. So just keep on checking our website regularly, and you will find the recording as well as the PDF of our for today's presentations. Yeah,
yes.
Gee,
Yeah, I can
question.
exactly. Yes, again, so if anyone missed anything, everything is there. Don't worry. In the next coming days, you will find it by the latest beginning of next week. Yes, I have a question when it comes to interdisciplinarity, which I find very interesting because someone is asking. I will just put it more in general, so that maybe many can see themselves reflected. If someone's studied something specific and looking for a position with more interdisciplinarity, how can they find such opportunities or positions? Yes, so maybe we can put a little bit in general spectrum. Anyone has ideas? Because I have one. I'll start, and maybe you can add if you. I would actually definitely advise you to check the excellence clusters because usually there are many universities, many research institutions working together in different fields or combining different fields. So that would be my advice as a first step where to look. And there are also, they offer lots of, I think we heard from the Neuro Germany also part of being an excellence cluster. There are multiple grants that are offered, also open positions, trainings, and so on. So maybe take a look at that and see which universities and what kind of research they're doing, because this is again the whole idea, connecting fields. Anyone else from the speakers would like to add to that point?
Maybe I can add something, because Jülich is such an interdisciplinary research center. And if you're taking a look at our positions that we have, there's the requirements profile, and especially for PhD positions, but even sometimes for postdoctoral positions, there's a really long list of professional backgrounds and disciplines we are looking for. So I think, yeah, our positions are very, very often very interdisciplinary in the core of the position, and also the teams. It's physicists, chemists, engineers, people from very different backgrounds working together. Yeah, so maybe also the research center in Jülich could be an address for you.
Yeah, so read the positions, the open positions, look at the requirements, which fields they are. If it's a project, a new project, they show which kind of combination, field combinations are already looked at. And I don't know, what do you think about this Initiative Bewerbung? Like someone would just approach an institution if they see they do research in different fields or different areas, and they just write to them an email. Does that work? Maybe this is another general question that maybe would be helpful to our audience.
Maybe I can start. So it is in general possible to write these initiative applications. So now and then we have some options there. So if you're interested, send us a CV and all the required informations, and then maybe it's possible. And it's very good, before you send us a CV, maybe check what kind of research we are doing, so that you have an idea in which direction it should go.
Perfect.
I think that is a great point, that there has to be a thorough research to be done before applying. So you get a higher success rate when it comes to your applications. There was one more question also regarding the application process. And the person was asking if the application itself must be submitted by the researcher or the university in behalf of the researcher, or through a host advisor. So maybe someone could answer that question.
Maybe I could try. So in our case, it's actually very straightforward that if there is an open position, you can apply to this. And there's usually a contact person, which is the group leader, who offers this position. And usually you can contact the person or the group leader and, you know, maybe discuss or ask some specific requirements. But we don't have an HR department who's dealing with all our job offers. It's usually goes directly to the group leader who is offering this position. I hope that answers the question a little bit. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I think it definitely does. But on another side note, I mean, the question was also referring to, is it you as an individual applying, or should like the host advisor or the university apply? But I think you already mentioned that it's in your case for the BMC, it's a quite short way, so to say, that you just contact those people directly. Are there other voices from the panelists, or does it work in the same manner?
I mean, mostly I think it depends really on what the position is and who is applying. But generally, I would say it's a person who is applying. And then obviously with reference letters and recommendations by someone that you've been affiliated with before. And then also most of the cases you get in touch beforehand with the person, a group leader, or the person in the lab, so that you already know what you want to be doing. But it really depends on the case and on the job and on the position.
Usually when yeah, please go ahead, Astrid.
Yeah, I would also say have a look at the websites of the university, the host university. All the positions are listed there. Usually they're also, of course, reposted by the group leader, by sub pages on the website. But for example, the LMU and the Technical University Munich, they have a very clear website listing all their PhD and postdoc offers. So I'd always recommend checking these pages, and there are always really clear instructions on how to apply.
Yes, but I think usually if the university applies, that comes to grants that are dedicated to German universities where they can apply for it, but elsewhere, and they need, if you're searching for a supervisor, it's usually they do the hosting agreement with you, and this is what you would need in order to apply and to move forward with your application. Yes, very good. I would also answer, because I saw that a couple of times, scholarships. You can usually a type of funding is taking a position. So like if you're applying for a position, this position is funded by the salary in a way, but also the DAD, Alexander von Humboldt, there are many other funding institutions that fund short stays, because that question was also there, as well as a PhD or postdoc or fellowships. So I posted the link in the chat or in the different questions. I'll also put it in the chat where you can filter to your country, because someone also asked about the Global South, if there are specific ones. Yes, there are usually different funding opportunities for different countries. So take a look at the database, as well as people who are just finishing their master degrees and don't know how to move forward or still not aware what are the next steps in doing PhD. I would also advise you to use the Pathfinder if you're also still not sure about the if you'd like to do a position, because through the Pathfinder, it gives you questions about your certification, how you work, how to find a supervisor, and at the end of it, you will have a long list or a checklist with all the needed links and all the needed steps that you have to put into consideration. So please test that. I also put it in the chat. I can put it again for you all. Yes. Do you, Clarissa? Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe I think most of you somehow touched on that point, but with a look at networks and international or institutional collaborations within Germany or abroad, could one of you or a couple of you like outline how international researchers could benefit from such networks, and what maybe your institution especially does in order to bring those internationals together and create some networking?
Maybe I can start. I mentioned it on our on my benefits slide that we have a welcome day for international colleagues. We also have one for national colleagues, but it's separated, and it offers the opportunity to get in touch with also international colleagues from other institutes, as Jülich is so large. This is a good opportunity for new colleagues to get in touch with other new colleagues who maybe have the same experiences. They can help each other. And also within the institutes, as I mentioned it, nearly 50% of our scientists come from abroad. So it's an international community within the institutes, and many institutes, it's just working naturally in most cases, that the communities are building, the networks are building, and people also spend their free time together, arrange appointments to meet, to discover the cities around, things like this. And so this with regard to the atmosphere and work environment. And of course, we are also supporting our colleagues in going on international conferences, presenting their research. Research that stays abroad, this outside of the research center, of course, also strengthens the international networks. And yeah, I think networking is something everyone can benefit from. Is it for another research project you would like to focus on, or getting contacts for maybe a future position you're looking for? Getting in contact with people is always helpful and useful.
Yeah, great. I think that was a great statement. And maybe, do you have a final question or?
I would actually like to add a closing question to the panelists or the speakers. Again, thank you very much for the insights. Maybe you can share what is kind of unique at your research field, or not being specifically at a university. I know some of you are under the umbrella of universities, but still a center or a little bit of a unique Einheit, or like, yeah, I don't, the word is not here. But maybe you can just give a little bit of insight. What is unique at your institution? Who would like to start?
Final words.
Final words, yes.
No one wants to start. I can try. So I think for Jülich, it's really, really special that we have so much expertise, so much infrastructures, knowledge, experts from many different fields on one campus. I mentioned the other branch offices, and we also have other locations, but it's 5,000, 5,500 of our colleagues working on the campus in Jülich, and everything is so close by. And if you have a problem that you cannot solve on your own or in your institute, you have someone, the institute next door, and they have the microscope or the infrastructure that you're looking for, and also the expertise to use this. Yeah, I think having so much on such a small place is kind of unique.
So yeah, for BAM, I would sorry. For BAM, I would say that it's just a very unique, very highly international place with lots of early career researchers. We have great services for internationals, including a welcome office. We're establishing something like the international office that also deals with international networks and collaborations. And last but not least, we're in the center of Berlin, and we are incredibly well connected with the Berlin University Alliance universities, and also our researchers have their own university contacts and have their own position at universities throughout Germany. So I think the connection and the network being in the heart of Berlin makes it really interesting to look on our website and try to find out some more about what we have to offer.
And maybe I can add a few things more. So yeah, and we are doing research with impact. So we are working really near and close to, let's say, real world problem. We have competence centers, for example, for wind energy, for hydrogen storage. So all infrastructural problems we are working on. So this is, I would say, also quite unique. So you're really working very closely to problems we have here in Germany, but also abroad.
Thank you. And last but not least, oh, there are two more left.
I can say something. So on behalf of the Neurocenters in Germany, I think what is very nice and unique is that we're all working together, all these different locations across Germany, to show that neuroscience really is a strong field of discipline in Germany. And on behalf of Synergy, which is as I explained, a cluster of excellence. Well, the word excellence, I think, already says it for itself. But we really do have very great researchers working together interdisciplinary fields. They're combining their expertise in so-called tandem projects. So there's always two principal investigators working on a project. They both come from different disciplines, and that of course leads to new insights. We're also sharing technologies. We have technology hubs, for example, that our members can use. Sorry, a lot of things that I did not explain in the presentation, but we have great facilities for our researchers.
All right, some final words from BMC.
Yeah, not sure how unique we are now after I listened to all this. I guess we are similar. I'm not sure if we're really so unique, but it's along these lines. like others mentioned as well, we also have a welcome office. We have an onboarding event, especially for international students or colleagues who are joining us. And we also have a very integrative, but also a very diverse scientific community here at the BMC. And for us, it's one of the big focus that we all work together, that we able to collaborate together, and yeah, in a very vibrant or international city, and yeah, at one of the best universities in Germany or even in Europe. But also to have this working together, this is, I think, our slogan, I would say, having a yeah, very nice and scientific community. But yeah, I'm not sure that's so unique. But I guess this is translational part, which I mentioned before as well, is also, we do basic research, but we also very great in translational research with the university hospital, for example, really working on the patient, or from bench to bed, as some of them could say. That's one of our big benefits.
Thank you very much. Maybe I would like to share one last point, that we are also cooperating, or have been cooperating with all institutions that are presented here today within the featured partners. So we also have lots of insights from them and from others about different research topics. I will share the link here as well, and then you can take a look at the different videos, the different testimonials, the different reports that we've already received in the past year, where you can get a little bit more insights about how research looks like in Germany, and what kind of diverse different research fields are maybe possible for you, in case you did not really hear one, or you have a different scientific field or background than the ones that were presented today. So also on this note, thank you very much, and for you all, and it was great having you as partners, and continuing having you, some of you as future partners. And yes, Clarissa, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Unfortunately, we have to come to an end. The time was running, and we are now a few minutes late. Yeah, we will try to answer a few more questions in a written manner just now. And yeah, but of course, I would like to make some advertisement. There will be more events like this in the future. 2026 will be exciting, let me tell you. And until then, there are other sources of information, like, first of all, our Research in Germany homepage. And then we have our newsletter you can subscribe to, and of course our social media channels. And you can find the according QR codes here for easy access. But again, we will also share the presentation later on. You can expect it within the beginning of next week. Yeah, and now a reminder, please take a minute to fill out our survey, which is indicated here. It will open automatically in a new tab once you leave this webinar. This really helps us to make our events in the future as great as this one today. Yeah, and finally, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. A special thank you to our esteemed speakers for their rich presentations, and to our audience, dear researchers. We really appreciate your active participation and your thoughtful questions. Your engagement is what makes these events so impactful. So start applying, do the necessary research, and do not give up. So thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you at our next event. Stay tuned and see you then. Bye.